Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review with us, the team, the duet, that is the British Fist. And this team of YouTube shooters consists of Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me. He's the one and only. He makes this team. It's NJ.
What's up?
What's up indeed. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this edition of TNA Impact Wrestling down in the comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Man, I'm botching like John Laurinaitis lately, aren't I?
That sounded no mind.
Okay, right. So with this show, we've got the go-home show going into Final Resolution. Now, the first thing I want to say about this show is, ever since Bruce Pritchard has taken over the booking and everything, the shows, in my opinion, have been really better paced, and the segments have had more time to be effective. The only problem is now is they have to really be careful as to what storylines they feature. And I think this edition of Impact Wrestling was a good example of sometimes not featuring the right storylines, especially on a go-home show where the pay-per-view needs to be your main focus. Would you agree with what I just said there?
Very true, because obviously when it comes to the go-home shows, they do need to focus as much as they can on the last chance for the pay-per-view.
Exactly. So we'll get more into that as we go through the show. And also, if you want to know how I would book this show, there's a link there if you want to check that out. It's good as shit. We opened this show this week with Sting, who then calls out Bobby Roode down to the ring and asks for him to apologise to Dixie Carter for what he did last week, or in the weeks before.
Apologise to Dixie.
Yeah, Bobby Roode, they really emphasised Bobby Roode's heel character now. They even allowed him to spit on her, and that's like, wow, they really must be going all out with this heel gimmick. It's nice they're featuring it as much as they're doing.
The thing is, I like Roode on mic. He got his point across. He had a long time on mic, which was good. He got his point, then he did the spit on Dixie Carter. I just thought that was, the whole opener was great. I liked it.
Ever since Pritchard has taken over and Bobby Roode and James Storm have been in this main event scene, the openers have been so much more entertaining, haven't they? Much better than Immortal promos. And this is another great example of TNA starting off the show very strong, in my opinion.
Very true. I think
it's a very good opening segment. We didn't have a main event match announced, but that was a bit of an issue for me. But again, we kind of knew what we were going to be getting, as it did get a passing mention throughout the night, I guess. In our next segment, we had Samoa Joe versus Abyss. Now, before we go into this match, it's just amazing that Samoa Joe is filler for an Abyss feud. I just can't believe TNA don't have anything for this guy to do, especially how talented this guy is.
Well, they did kind of rush past the Crimson and Morgan versus Samoa Joe, and they kind of moved quickly past that. When they did that, Samoa Joe's just been loafing around doing nothing, so I think it's kind of been left him out on his own a bit.
It's a bit of a shame, isn't it, as well? I do like Samoa Joe a lot. The match itself, though, about 1 minute 30 into the match, we had an advert, and it was a very short TV segment. I'm like, what? This kind of ruined the flow of the segment, in my opinion. It wasn't that bad of a match. It's just the advert kind of hurt the flow a lot, especially during the match. It's just as the match is really starting to pick up.
Yeah, but you can get pizza for $5.99. That is kind of good tonight, Dan.
And you can get some Wrangler jeans.
Yes, see, always good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, this wasn't necessarily a bad match. We know Samoa Joe and Abyss could probably work a good big man match. Bully Ray and Steiner come out and they try and help Abyss win because they're trying to make friends of him after this whole Abyss monster gimmick.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit weird. And then after the match, Abyss hits the Black Hole Slam on Steiner. I'm like, is this, and this is again an issue with the storylines, is this booked on the pay-per-view? Did we see this? Is this booked on the pay-per-view, NJ?
No, it's not. But the way I look at it is, obviously, as much as they got control on the pay-per-view, they had to have some non-pay-per-view matches just to make it still seem like a normal show. The thing is, this match basically to give Abyss more of a push, more of a win, and more of a dominant wrestler move. But
I can't. I'm going to have to disagree with you here, NJ. I'm afraid. I think for the fact this is a go-home show, this is a non-pay-per-view storyline, unless they announce it at the last minute or something, which is probably what they're going to do now. But they should really feature this on a non-go-home show. In my humble opinion.
Well, the fact that Abyss is not at the pay-per-view makes sense, but they've moved from like Abyss, Bully Ray and Anderson moved on quickly, so now I don't know what's going on here, but it's not the pay-per-view.
So Anderson's not featured on TV this week. We didn't have the X Division feature, we didn't have the TV title. Ivory and Daniels got a passing mention. I just think there's other things you can put on the TV show which should have more significance towards the pay-per-view, but we'll move on. The next we had a promo segment when Devon and Pope call out Crimson and Morgan. We had Devon talking up the fact that Crimson and Morgan could be massive players and they're both going to be bringing their A-game until Pope gets on the mic and starts talking the real deal, all about the money and Pope's character development.
The whole thing is, as good as Devon was right to put him over because he is a multiple tag team champion, he's done it all, he's mentioned all the great tag teams that he's beaten, faced, it's good. but he did hold the mic for a lot of the time.
He did.
Pope got his amount of time, which was fair, but you didn't really have Matt Morgan or Crimson on mic, which was disappointing.
Yeah, I did like the fact that Pope at least tried to create some some tension between the teams, as we kind of need this going into the pay-per-view. You had Pope bumping into Morgan, and then they all started they all started brawling, I should say. And then, I just don't understand, why does the kids get involved here? This is so pointless. Who gives a shit about these kids? I thought they got them off TV.
But the way I look at it is that, again, they're going to do the whole Garrett Bischoff thing. These two will probably become wrestlers in the far future, and they just get these little segments to build them up. But again, them two are not needed for this go-home show, going to the pay-per-view, so it's kind of a waste of that time. I
don't want to see this thing between Pope and Devon and the kids. It just pisses me off when there's a tag team title match coming up and we're focusing on the kids and Pope and Devon. And we had a backstage segment later on in the night between Devon and Pope. I'm like, God, the focus should be on this tag match, not this stupid feud which no one wants to see between Pope and Devon. And it looks to me as if they're turning Pope heel. And I don't want TNA to do that because he's a fucking babyface. The crowd like him. They want to cheer him. Why turn him heel?
I don't know. The way I look at this is that I don't know. I enjoyed the in-ring segment. I enjoyed that, but the final few minutes of it was just really horrible and not really to the point of the match.
Exactly, and Crimson and Morgan didn't get any mic time either, which is a bit disappointing. But we'll move on. Next, we had a knockout match: Mickie James versus Madison Rayne, the person who Karen Jarrett wanted to put on her A game and go out there and kick Mickie James's ass. Were we ever going to believe she was going to put Mickie James out of action?
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, Madison Rayne was actually booked quite strong in this match, wasn't she? It was quite weird. She actually did dominate a lot of it, and usually when she dominates, the matches aren't that good, but this is all right. Good knockouts action.
It was all right, not the best, but you don't really expect from Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne did keep Mickie James down a few times, close pinfalls, but obviously it was not going to lead that way.
Yeah, Mickie James gets the comeback win, I guess, after 5 minutes, so we got good time, and then Gail Kim appears on the ramp after the win. And this is an example, in my opinion, where simple booking is better booking. You have Gail Kim appearing on the ramp, hyping their feud, and the challenger looking strong.
Yes, the match was pretty stupid, but the ending result was right, and Gail Kim coming out obviously got them ready for their match pay-per-view.
I didn't feel the match was stupid at all, MJ, in my opinion, personally. But we'll move on, shall we?
Yeah.
We have different opinions on here, even though we're a team, of course. This is one. Now, next is one segment where we're not going to have we're going to have the exact same opinion, I should say. The hour main event tonight wasn't something to do with the pay-per-view. No, it was Garrett Bischoff versus Gunner. And this even got a video package. And my question is, why is this the hour main event when this isn't even related to the fucking pay-per-view? Just seriously, Angle and Storm should have had this position, in my opinion. Why did Garrett Bischoff get it? It's because his dad is one of the fucking guys controlling the TV bullshit they do.
Well, two things I want to say about this. It's the thing we've all been waiting for. No. And the other thing is that this match has been repeated twice. And it's just not something we want to see again. It filled up a bit of the time that was needed for something else. And I really did not agree that having the whole... You had this whole backstage thing with Sting and Gunner saying no, Bischoff. And, I don't know, they're really hyping this match up for nothing.
We just don't give two shits about this, especially seeing as Garrett has already beaten him twice already. You know, the match itself, Gunner dominates, and then Garrett Bischoff gets the win. And it's like, well, could you not have put this on any other show other than the Go Home show, which is supposed to just focus entirely on your pay-per-view? So I hated this segment. They're trying to shove Bischoff down our throats, and I just fucking hate it. This is such a pointless feud, in my opinion. And then after the match, you have Gunner attacking him. If we haven't already had enough time with this segment, you have Gunner attacking him and doing the spike pile driver and putting him out of action.
I guess as Garrett's nothing to do with the pay-per-view and probably nothing to do for a little bit after, taking him out of business, knocking him out, ending that feud for a little while. I think it was okay.
Then we even get a backstage segment when they're putting him in the ambulance. This is fucking bullshit, in my opinion. I really can't say this enough. This is bullshit. Why do we get this in our main event on a go-home show which doesn't focus on your pay-per-view? Surely you want something like the next segment, like James Storm and Kurt Angle, a match which is going to feature prominently on the pay-per-view and is a great feud, and something that can draw eyes at the hour main event.
It did take a bit of time. You did get Bischoff on screen too much, Rick Flair as well, but to be honest, this took up time that could have been used for things that we'll mention later.
Exactly. X Division, RVD, TV title match. Didn't get any important TV time on the show tonight. I digress. Next, we get a James Storm Angle segment, which was hyped up from last week even. I was genuinely looking forward to this segment. I feel this should have been the hour main event, but this was a good segment. And again, James Storm is really, really, really impressing me on the mic at the moment.
But the way he stood up, like Angle had his save first, tried to be a bit of defensive against James Storm. James Storm gets on mic, has his say, gets right to the point, really, gets in Angle's face and really makes him feel a bit, well, you're going to be a strong opponent. I respect you. I think you're going to be great. You're great at wrestling that. So I think, to be honest, it was definitely to the point, and I think James Storm, Mike, thumbs up. You said what was needed. The match is hyped. Go for it.
NJ, if you want to attack me, I've got my back turned.
Angle slam!
But I know you're not going to do it. So I'm going to turn my back. But this segment, in my opinion, was incredibly good. You had them talking about the pay-per-view match, talking about their feud, and James Storm talking on the mic about not being scared of Angle. Now he's going to kick his ass at Final Resolution. He turns his back on him and says, if Angle wants to jump him, then do it. In my opinion, this was a fantastic segment, and I'm really looking forward to this match and this feud continuing too.
The way that Angle just stood there obviously shows that James Storm is a strong opponent for him to face. So I thought that was nicely done. Nice way to wrap that up. Ready for their match. I liked it.
Next, we have a match with Gail Kim and Tracy Brooks. The problem with this is I like the fact they can feature 2 knockout segments on TV. That's good. It shows they're putting some effort into their knockouts. But why, when you've just had one segment with the knockouts champion and the challenger, do you have to have another one which essentially wastes TV time, which could have gone to the X Division, RDV Daniels, or even the TV title match, which is going to be on the pay-per-view? We got none of those tonight, but we can have time for this. It was very pointless, especially the way they did it. They made Gail Kim look shit.
That's what I was going to say. Of course, when you put Gail Kim in a match like this, you do expect Gail Kim to fight back and get her dominance in the match. But I think this was more concentrating on the breakup or the fallout between Karen Jarrett and
Tracy Brooks.
Tracy Brooks. I thought that was mainly concentrating on that than anything else.
Yeah, again, on the Go Home show, I just think they could have done this in a totally different place. But it's just the way they booked it. They booked Tracy Brooks to be dominant over Gail Kim. Like, why the fuck are they doing it? And Gail Kim needed an interference from Madison Rayne to beat Tracy Brooks. So you're trying to tell me that the Knockouts champion needs an interference from Madison Rayne to beat Tracy Brooks, who hasn't wrestled in God knows how long. I fucking hated this segment. It was pointless. Why did they have it? Why did they book it like this? Again, I just don't see why this TV time could have gone to other matches on the pay-per-view. And this was a massive problem I had with the show tonight.
This goes back to what I've said past few weeks. The knockouts are not really getting any better. Like, when I first started watching, I thought, oh, this is good. But now it's just getting worse. And this is just proving how bad it's getting.
Well, I thought the first segment was very good. I really enjoyed it. I just don't see the point in this second segment. I personally think the knockout segment was not... I thought it was pretty decent, but what was the point in featuring this?
True.
I'm actually looking forward to the Gail Kim and Mickie James match, though. I'll give it that. I'm not looking forward to the shit that WWE are putting out. Backstage segment with Daniels talking about having a wrestling match at the Final Resolution pay-per-view with RVD. You know, they've got a match announced. They've had this feud has been going on. But why didn't this get some in-ring segment over something like the Bischoff match or the, Gail Kim pointless shit or the other backstage crap they had between Abyss and Bully? Why did this not get TV time, but all that bullshit that's not going to be featured on the pay-per-view did?
Well, with these two, we've seen in the past couple of weeks, they've given Christopher Daniels a lot of mic time. So he's more better on mic than in the ring. So I think, to be honest, well,
don't disrespect the indie fans here, NJ. Christopher Daniels is a very good wrestler.
Well, yeah, you could say that. But I think, to be honest, to show that he's good at mic, in the ring as well as on mic, he's done a lot of mic work. He needs to perform better in the ring. And I'm thinking, going against Rob Van Dam, to be honest, it's not a match I'm looking forward to. Not really.
Oh, I am actually looking forward to this match. They're both, especially Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels is a fantastic wrestler. If you go watch his ROH stuff, you'll see that. But the RVD Daniels feud, a standard wrestling match as he needs to is quite good as it plays off Christopher Daniels' strengths, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing these two wrestle in the ring, even though I feel that this probably either should be a TV title feud or RVD should be feuding with maybe a younger guy. But I just think this should get TV time. This should get a promo segment or even a match or something. It's just my problem with it. I don't mind the feud. I just feel it should have got a bit more TV time on the Go Home show.
But it's all adding up to the same win. Christopher Daniels is not actually getting his wins that he needs. So to be honest, I think this is all leading up to probably Rob Van Dam winning again. And even Daniels said himself, I've already beaten you twice, even though he hasn't. He lost both times. We had the commentators, Mike Snare and Taz, running down the pay-per-view card. We've got 8 matches on the card, and we're going to be previewing the show on Saturday for you guys, so make sure you guys check out that video on Saturday where we'll be giving our opinions on the matches and what we think is going to happen and how good this pay-per-view could be. Definitely going to be better than TLC, in my humble opinion. In our main event this evening, Jeff Jarrett and Rude versus AJ and Hardy. Again, Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy getting in that main event picture kind of shows me they're going to go with Hardy versus Bobby Roode after this pay-per-view, which is way too soon, in my opinion. The way I look at this match, before we get into anything else, is, again, I've said this about other matches, even in WWE, when you have people who are meant to look stronger into a pay-per-view, you've got to decide who needs to look stronger over the other. So this match was kind of about, but again, it was an okay match because it did flare up into a good match.
I do like how the main events under Pritchard are getting a lot of time now. This match got 10 minutes, kind of similar to the way WWE do their main events. They always give them good time, which is good considering that in the main events in the past we've had really short main events in the Russo era. You know, good tag match action here. I did like the fact they started brawling individually on the outside with their individual feuds. It helps hype them up. This segment did help hype the two segments up. Maybe having Jarrett and Hardy in the main event segment, really, in my opinion, in 2011, Jeff Jarrett. And in my opinion here, Jarrett should be the one getting pinned. Just in my humble opinion. They played off AJ's injured knee, which was good going into the Iron match of final resolution, but Jarrett should be getting pinned. You look up the other three guys in here, Jarrett should be getting pinned, in my opinion.
Well, as much as that is true, I kind of like how it ended.
Yeah.
Bischoff, Angle, oh my gosh, my words are really coming out.
John Laurinaitis today.
A little bit.
Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy, I think
all
you're trying to refer
scrambled
to.
off backstage. And Karen Jarrett to follow them, okay. Yeah,
what the fuck was all that about?
But in the ring, it kind of narrowed down to what it should be.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do like the fact that Jarrett and Hardy went backstage. I don't wonder what the fuck Karen was doing, but at least it gave the main event match at Final Resolution its own sort of segment, so you could hype just the two guys in there. You get AJ who gets the quick roll up on Bobby Roode. You know, you could say, you know, AJ's getting the pin on the champion, but it's a quick roll up, and AJ was injured, and they're trying to play on that knee injury. I don't know. I didn't mind this ending too much. I still think Jarrett should have got the pin. And they had a nice brawl after the match as well, and I think the aftermath really did help hype their feud going into Final Resolution.
Well, I think giving AJ the win has made him look one pinfall over the champ looking strong.
Yeah.
But then obviously they can't end it there. They have to have the champ looking strong as well. So the aftermath was good. I enjoyed it. It was very nicely done.
It was a very good main event segment, in my opinion.
It was indeed.
Your overall thoughts on Impact tonight?
Okay, it started off a bit. Okay, the opener was good, so I enjoyed that. It followed on with all these, like, the Divas, the knockouts,
yeah.
The Bischoff thing. It really drew my attention. It started adding bits in that I didn't really want to see. I was missing the fact that Anderson weren't there. Maybe throw in another match with the pointless wrestling matches. But overall, it led up better towards the main event.
I like the way the show's paced, and I like the way the show's structured, but I do feel that TNA need to really focus on the correct storylines going into their pay-per-view. We had a lot of bullshit tonight. The Garrett Bischoff stuff, the Abyss stuff, the Tracy Brooks segment was a bit pointless, and you could have replaced those three segments with the RVD Daniels, the TV title segment, and the X Division segment, maybe, and then hyping those matches up for the pay-per-view instead. So in my opinion, the show wasn't bad. It's just that they really needed to focus on the right things tonight, and I don't really feel they did. Even though the show was very well paced, they really needed to focus on the correct things. And in my opinion, they didn't fully do that going into a pay-per-view. Even though I'm quite looking forward to it, this Go Home show didn't really deliver as much as I wanted it to, in my opinion.
No, but you look at it, it did hype up, like, the main event was nice. It hyped up too much the main event.
Oh yeah, good segments. I'm just saying there could have been more. There could have been more pay-per-view things featured on the show. That's all I'm trying to say.
There should have been, yes.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on this show, grade? C?
Probably C minus, because obviously there was so much missing from this.
Okay then, fair enough. C minus from the British Fist, of course. Make sure you guys give us your opinions down in that comment section below, of course, as you usually do, and we will reply to you as quickly as possible. And NJ, just do this one thing for me. End the show.
I'm not going to botch this up because it's been kind of messy, this review in my behalf. So all I'm going to say now is thank you very much for listening to our review. Please share your thoughts about the show we've just been given in the comment section below. And that has been it from the British Fish, which is Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Thank you very much and goodbye.